Welcome to Strong Girl Stuff, where strength is more than just muscle. We're talking fitness, mom life, real talk, and all the things that make us unstoppable. Let's get into it. Welcome back to Strong Girl Stuff. I am your host, Ashley, and I'm so excited to come back to you guys on this platform. I feel like I neglect my podcast so much, and I am a talker. I love talking, chatting, all things fitness, life, just lifestyle, mom life, all the things, you name it, I want to talk about it. And today I just wanted to talk to you guys about motivation and the truth about motivation and why it won't always be there and what you should probably be doing instead of relying on motivation to help you reach your goals. So we're going to go ahead and just hop into it. I want to go ahead and just do a little background since it's been like 9 months since I did my last podcast. So I have still been training pretty intensely. I did switch in the fall back to powerlifting just to give myself a little bit of a break from the strict life of bodybuilding. I have been loving that, and I have been hitting some major PRs, which has been incredible. But yeah, I'm loving my training. I'm training now 4 days a week. I usually don't train more than that. If I get a fifth day, I'm like, wow, I got a fifth day at the gym. My life has changed so much dramatically over the last year, and I have just shifted, my focus a little bit. And while the gym is still always there, it's not my entire life. So I lift consistently, usually around 4 days a week. There are times that it's 3 days, and my body and my mental health feels so much better doing that instead of feeling like I have to be in the gym 24/7, 5 to 7 days a week. It's a lot, and it takes a lot on you. Not to mention, I am a full-time creator, and being able to just kind of dial it back a little bit has allowed me to love and enjoy my lifts more. So yeah, that's what I've been doing. No plans to compete. I feel like that's the number one question I get is, when are you competing again? When's your next show? I have no plans to compete again anytime soon, or at least in this year. I have considered going into a prep the first of next year, but honestly, that's just going to come with how I feel. And right now, I just feel really good where I'm at. And I know I still have a lot of growth to achieve before I really stack up. And I want to make sure when I'm on stage again that I am, a force to be reckoned with. And I want to make sure that I am able to compete against what I'm going against. So, anyways, that's a little background on where I am, and I'm just feeling really good. So today was supposed to be a gym day for me, but I actually had a really bad headache, and I still actually have one, but I am such a workaholic that I'm still going to go ahead, and I'm going to go ahead and get on here and podcast today. So I am just going to come at you guys with talking about motivation. So that's a little background for me. We're going to hop right into it, try to be more consistent with this platform, but let's get to it. So just talking about motivation, I feel like for me, when I first started, I relied so much on motivation, and I was motivated because I was physically motivated. I would be so motivated to get in the gym because I was seeing physical changes in my body, and the physical motivation is what kept me going when I first started running, when I got in the gym, and I was like, oh wow, I'm getting smaller, because at that point in time, my goal was to get smaller. I was getting smaller. I was seeing, more ab lines, and I was seeing just more definition in my upper body, and the physical part of what I was seeing motivated me so much to get inside the gym. And I actually posted on Instagram and TikTok, but it was a reel and a TikTok, just talking about this mirror. I have a mirror, the mirror in my bathroom, and I would stand in that mirror, and if it wasn't that, it was in my bedroom, and I would take just a photo, and it used to just be from waist up. It wasn't even a full body shot. And I would stand in that mirror and I would take a photo every day because I'm okay, do I look smaller? If I did not look smaller, I felt like I failed myself because I relied so much on that physical motivation. And yes, that's great because physical motivation is gonna get us going, gonna get us really motivated to hit our goals, especially in the beginning. As someone who, I was not a lifter, I didn't work out, nothing. Like I was new to everything. Like I literally was not in the gym. I didn't work out at all. And that physical change in my body really motivated me to keep wanting more. Like I wanted to get, in the gym more and do more and eat less and like all of the things. So while at the beginning, the physical part definitely kept me in the gym or kept me working out in general, it also, it hindered me just a little bit because I was so physically motivated that I developed a little bit of an eating disorder again. I hadn't had an eating disorder since like high school. And I was wanting to be the smallest, teeniest, tiniest version of myself because that's what society always made me feel like I needed to be, was the smallest version of myself. And it finally, once I got in the gym, I finally realized like, hey, I like to be strong. Like I like to lift. I love seeing like my biceps get bigger. I'm kind of enjoying this, like, hey, I'm getting a little stronger. I'm seeing a little bit more muscle. Like what can I do with that? Like how can I keep getting more? And I realized I needed to eat. I needed food. Crazy to think that we have to eat to grow our bodies, but that is exactly what I realized I was lacking, is not enough food to fuel my body. And I started eating more food and I started to see a little bit more muscle growth. And I'm like, okay. And then I started to get even stronger. Enter in powerlifting. These little physical things obviously helped me get to where I am now. I am so grateful for that physical motivation because it got me here and appreciating my body in all the stages. Am I always going to be stage lean? No, I'm not. Am I going to always be, bigger kind of in my bulkier look? No, they're just for seasons. So the physical only takes us so far. So I feel like over the past couple of years, I've lost that motivation in a sense because I've had a lot of personal changes, but I also have went through all of these preps and shows and, I don't feel like working out, and I haven't felt like eating to plan per se, like to a strict plan. Like the last show I did, I was going through a lot in my personal life, and it was a really difficult time, and it was a really difficult time to do a show, to be honest. Like it was a really hard time. I somehow got finished, but I was not motivated. Like after that show, I was just like, I don't want to eat to a plan. Like I want to be able to enjoy a cookie if I want. Like I don't want to feel like I can't have, something that's not on my specific meal plan, because I did have a meal plan at the time. And I still kept showing up. Even though I wasn't maybe per se right on target with everything, the main thing is I kept showing up. You have to find other ways to get yourself to show up. And I wasn't really motivated, but I knew at the end of the day I still had goals and I still needed to work as hard as I could to achieve those goals. So I still kept going. I still kept showing up. And something I realized, especially going through prep, you have to be disciplined. It has nothing to do with motivation. Like discipline is exactly what's going to get you to your goal. And that pertains not just in a prep state. Like that pertains to us every day in the gym, and making sure we're achieving our goals is through discipline. And a lot of people are like, I don't know how you balance like work and, the gym and being a mom and like doing all the things that you're doing. Like, how can you still find motivation to go to the gym? I don't find motivation. I literally just am disciplined enough to know that like I have to be in the gym. Like I have to do my lifts. I have to hit my 4 days. That's what I have to do. I have to physically do that for myself. Like I mentally have to do that for myself. And I know that that is just where the discipline comes in. When I was in prep for, the first one was 20 weeks. My second one was like 23 weeks, I think. And my first show, I was in prep for 20 weeks. I was ready. Like I was fully ready. Like this last day that I was able to eat off a meal plan, I think I can't remember what I had. I got like takeout for the day and I just got like my last meal in a sense. And I went straight into my meal plan and I hit everything. Like that prep, I did not miss a beat. I hit everything on target, exactly the way it was supposed to be. And that was not through motivation, because I can tell you when you're deep in prep, especially, you are tired. Your mental, like your brain stops functioning. I'm not exaggerating. Like prep brain is a real thing. Like you just stop mentally working up here. Like you're just exhausted because you're also not eating a lot. So for me, discipline came in. I had a lot going on at that time. I had a tragedy because I had a death in the family. It was a really hard time in some of those moments, and I still showed up. Like in moments that typically I probably wouldn't have shown up, I showed up because the discipline is what kept me going. I knew I had a goal, and the way to get to that goal was to be completely disciplined. And I think people just look for excuses to not be disciplined. And I'm not saying you have to be disciplined in the sense of like, hey, I'm on prep, so obviously I have to do this, this, and this. But you need to be disciplined enough to know that you need to change so you feel better. And whether that is for physical change, just to have more energy, just to feel like getting up because your joints hurt or whatever, you have to be disciplined enough to make that change for yourself. No one can do it for you. Motivation only gets you so far. You have to be disciplined in order to, get to your goals. So I feel like a lot of people are always like, motherhood and, just being a mom, working, life throws a lot at you and, you can't always be consistent. And while, yes, I will say that as a mom, I feel like I can relate so much to people saying like, I'm so busy and I have this going on. We're all busy. And I really don't like the saying that like we all have the same amount of hours and time in the day. I really, honestly, I'll tell you, I don't like that saying. The only reason I don't like that saying is because my day is going to look completely different from a younger fitness influencer who, doesn't have the responsibilities of, kids and just life things that I have. Like for me as a mom, I am working. I still have a day job that I work, part-time. So I do have that. I have my 2 kids and they have, events that we have to go to. And I still, in the midst of that, have to squeeze in my workouts and things that I have for myself, for my goals. So like on a Sunday, I fully plan my week out. Like I know what days I'm going to the gym, what my workouts look like for each day on the days that I'm going. So everything is planned accordingly. Sundays, I like to get my food together, at least have a plan of what I'm doing for the week. And that way I'm on target for the week. There's no excuse to not be on target. You know what I mean? So again, like everybody's like, you have the same amount of hours in the day. So like, there's no excuse. We have the same amount of time. Yes. But your time looks way different than my time or the next person. And so while it's relatable, it's also not, it's not relatable and it's not exact because everyone is different. Do I think that you can absolutely make time? Absolutely you can. If you want to feel better and you want to reach a goal, you have to plan accordingly. And that's what I'm here to preach to you is plan accordingly to reach your goals. So if, you have to be up if you're like a mom or if you have to work either way and you have to be up and out the door at like 7 a.m. or 6 a.m., go to bed a little bit earlier, get up an hour earlier, knock out a workout, do something super quick, get it done, move your body or walk, get your steps in, and you still showed up for yourself before going into your daily routine and your daily tasks, okay? It's so important to show up for ourselves because at the end of the day, if we're not, you're going to regret that decision long term because you're not going to feel good. You're going to constantly continue to find that excuse to keep complaining about not feeling good or not having energy or not liking how you look or any of those things. And it's easy to make the excuse, but just do a little bit at a time to get yourself used to it and find that routine and that rhythm, and you'll be on track to hit your goals. I think a lot of people there's a lot of people in, like, I have people in my area that I think they like to fall on that crutch of, I'm a mom and like I don't have time and I work and this and that. I'll be honest, I have a day job that I work part-time. I am a full-time content creator on multiple platforms. I run a few other businesses as well. So like on top of that, I work what feels like 2 full-time jobs, and I balance a lot of social media platforms. And in doing so, I again plan my week on like a Sunday, because I like to get everything planned for the week. My week starts on a Monday. I know some people they're like, my week starts on a Sunday. Start it on Saturday, then get it prepped on Saturday. But for me, I plan it on a Sunday and I get everything aligned and ready to go for the week. And then I'm set up for success for the week. And if something gets thrown like a little curveball, you need to just figure out like, okay, I'm assessing this. I know I can just switch this, and this, and I can easily still squeeze in what I need to squeeze in. It is not hard. I think that fitness or working out or any of the things are just so overcomplicated. I think everybody likes to really overcomplicate it. It's not that complicated, okay? It's really not. It's really just about planning. So again, motivation won't always be there, but I feel like I'm somebody who thrives off of like a plan. So if I get up and I plan my day, I'm going to plan it on that Sunday, have everything planned out for the week. And I'm going to stick to the plan, which is, again, where not motivation, but that structure, the discipline sets in, and I'm going to stick to that. And it's so much easier. It makes it easier on you to achieve your goals. So I definitely think that having a plan helps a lot. But yeah, I really just wanted to kind of like touch base there, because I feel like so many people are just like relying on motivation. That's all I see. They're like, motivation. I have no motivation today. I don't have motivation most days. Like, I'm tired. Does a nap sound better? Absolutely. Like, I don't feel like going to lift. I'd rather come home and binge watch my show on Netflix? Absolutely. That sounds better and easier. Am I going to do it? No. Why not? Because I know that I'm going to feel worse doing that. And then I'm going to regret it later in the day, because I'm going to be like, oh my gosh, I'm so tired. I didn't get my steps in. I didn't go lift. I would have felt so much better had I did that. I'm not going to do it. So while it's easy to make an excuse, you can easily just shift that for something else, and just something that's going to get you towards your goal. So just a little bit of inspo for you guys that I promise you can do it. It comes down to having discipline. And I know that doesn't always sound easy, but you're capable of showing up for yourself on a consistent basis every single day, in whatever form that is, whether you go to the gym, whether you walk, whether you're doing yoga or Pilates or whatever your form of fitness looks like. You can easily just shift in your schedule enough time to get something done. And all you need is 30 minutes. And everyone does have 30 minutes. It's just whether or not you're disciplined enough to make yourself use those 30 minutes for something that you're going to feel better doing, or use the 30 minutes to do nothing and complain about it later. Anyways, I hope that helps you guys and inspires you to, work towards your goals and not rely so much on motivation and rely on discipline. And that's all I have for today, but I will have a much more structured, outlined podcast for you guys next week. And maybe we'll throw in some like hot takes and that kind of thing. I'm going to try to maybe even have like guests on the show. I'm going to really get this going again. So anyways, thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you follow the podcast on Apple Podcasts. I will see you guys in the next podcast. Or rather yet, I will talk to you guys next week in the next podcast. Bye, guys.